There was a time you walked on eggshells, silencing your voice just to keep the peace. You apologized for things you didn't do. You stayed when everything in you screamed to run. You gave love and they fed you lies. But even in the darkness, a spark remained. And that spark is you. Yes, you watching me. Now the fog is lifting. The gaslighting no longer works. The shame no longer sticks. And this is your moment, not just to heal, but to rise, to reclaim every stolen part of you with holy fire and fierce grace. This video is not just a guide, it's your battlefield strategy, your sacred rebellion, and your roadmap back to yourself. Welcome to your comeback story, and this time you are the one holding the pen. So what are the 12 common negative emotions narcissistic abuse survivors face, and how do you overcome them? Before I delve deeper into the video, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Iyabo Oyawale, and by the grace of the Almighty, I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor. And on this channel, we share narcissistic abuse recovery tips as well as biblical wisdom for dealing with the scourge, the pain, and the mess of narcissistic abuse and emotional trauma. And if you're serious about healing from narcissistic abuse and emotional trauma, you're gonna hit the subscribe button right away in order for you to become a member of this strong and supportive community. This community where we hold hands virtually in our fight against narcissistic abuse and emotional trauma. Thank you if you just hit the subscribe button. Don't also forget to turn on notifications to be notified when we go live, because every Saturday we go live on this channel. And this coming Saturday we are going to talk about how to deal with the rage and resentment you feel after narcissistic abuse. That rage you're feeling after you have been abused, that is what we're going to deal with. We're going to talk about how to deal with that rage, that resentment, that bitterness, that hatred you feel. It's going to be a powerful session, and I see God ruling deeply inside that live stream. Inside the session, I see God breaking bondages of people who've been held in the prison of resentment for so long. And so don't miss it. I hope to see you in the live audience. And so turn on notifications to be notified when we got new videos as well as new live streams. Thank you. If you just subscribed, you are warmly welcome to this community. And so we want to talk about the 12 common negative emotions narcissistic abuse survivors face and how to overcome them. Now, narcissistic abuse isn't always visible, but it leaves deep emotional scars, and survivors often carry invisible wounds that we cannot see, in the form of intense, confusing, and conflicting emotions. And this video explores the 12 most common negative emotions, offering clarity, validation, and a gentle path forward. Now, the first one is shame. And with shame, you are asking yourself, what's wrong with me? And the root cause of shame is the constant criticism from the narcissist, the constant devaluation from the narcissist, and the constant blame from the narcissist. And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel not good enough no matter what. It makes you also experience a deep embarrassment about your choices or staying in the relationship. And there's also a persistent inner voice saying constantly it's your fault. And the impact is such that you're constantly self-isolated, and you are hiding parts of yourself, and also you fear being seen. But let me say but, not and. But healing begins with acknowledging that the shame isn't yours to carry, and also affirming that their cruelty says more about them than me. Their cruelty says more about them than me. And so that is a powerful affirmation to make. The second most common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is guilt. And in guilt, you are asking, did I do something wrong? That is a question you are asking yourself. And the root cause of guilt is the constant guilt tripping from the narcissist, the constant manipulation from the narcissist, as well as the constant emotional blackmail from the narcissist. And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel bad for standing up for yourself. Anytime you stand up for yourself, you feel bad. And also it makes you regret over cutting ties. It makes you regret cutting ties. And also even with toxic people, you regret cutting ties. Also, you over apologize. This is how it makes you feel. Now, the impact is such that you feel You constantly betray yourself. The impact is such that you constantly betray yourself, and you always try to people please. You always try to people please, and also excuse me, and also there is difficulty enforcing boundaries. You are unable to enforce boundaries as a result of guilt. But healing begins with understanding the difference between true guilt and toxic guilt. And so what you're experiencing is called toxic guilt and not true guilt. And you can heal by reframing your perspective, by saying protecting myself is not a sin. Protecting myself is not a sin. Okay, the third most common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is fear. And your fear is rooted in the question, what if they come back? You're asking yourself, what if they come back? And the root cause is basically intimidation from the narcissist, threats from the narcissist, as well as trauma bonding. And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel hyper vigilant. You are constantly sensitive. You are oversensitive. And also it makes you jump at noises or notifications. You are constantly jumping at noises. You are anxious, you are restless. Also, it makes you fear future relationships or trusting others. And the impact is such that you suffer from panic attacks, you suffer from social withdrawal, you withdraw from society, and also you fear independence. Now, but healing begins with safety planning. And safety planning involves no contact, no contact. It also involves block them everywhere, social media, email, everywhere, phone, everywhere. And also legal help if needed. Yes, we call it safety planning for a reason. Also, you must learn grounding techniques to calm the nervous system, because nervous system is hyperactive. And so learn grounding techniques to calm the nervous system. The fourth most common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is anger. Why did this happen to me? That's the question you're asking yourself. Why did this happen to me? And the root cause basically is a result of the repeated betrayals by the narcissist, as well as manipulation by the narcissist, as well as injustice. You feel that the whole situation is not fair. As a result, you feel angry. How does it make you feel? It makes you feel rage at the narcissist and yourself. You are angry at both the narcissist and yourself. And rage is basically uncontrollable anger. And so you feel rage at yourself as well as the narcissist. Also, you feel being used, and you feel you've wasted time in the relationship. I can relate, yes. Also, there is what we call explosive or repressed emotion. The emotion is explosive, and I once was there. I had rage that could burn a house. It was explosive. It was that explosive, and I feared myself because I knew that if I acted based on the rage, I was going to destroy things, destroy people, destroy places. And so there is what we call explosive or repressed emotion. And then the impact is such that there are strained relationships. There are certain relationships you will no longer be able to keep up with because of the rage, because of the anger you're feeling. Also, there will be resentment and bitterness, and then there will be self-blame or shame. But healing begins with giving yourself permission to feel the anger. Validate your anger. Your anger is in order. You are a human being, and such things can make you angry. And so validate your anger and express it safely through journaling, through art, through music, through movements, through whatever it is you can release it. Just go ahead and express it safely. Through kickboxing, you can kick a pillow just to release that anger, that resentment, that bitterness. I know someone who, whenever she's grieving, maybe the loss of someone, she will just be kicking a pillow, kicking it severally just to release. And so you must find outlets for your anger that will not involve destroying another person. Okay, so the fifth most common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is confusion. What's real anymore? As in, You no longer know what is real because you've been severally betrayed, and so you cannot even know the difference between what is real and unreal. And the root cause is it's a result of gaslighting constantly from the narcissist, the mind games being played by the narcissist, as well as the twisted truths and the half truths and the lies and the deceit. And how does it make you feel? It makes you doubt your memory as well as your intuition. You no longer trust yourself, and also it makes you have difficulty making decisions. You no longer can make decisions. You overanalyze and overanalyze onto paralysis, and also you feel disoriented or foggy, and your memory is sometimes blur. Yes, and the impact is such that you lose trust in yourself and you rely on other people for validation, as well as increased anxiety. But healing begins with writing things down to track your truth. Begin to write down to track your truth, and also affirm your lived experiences as well as instincts. Affirm your lived experiences as well as instincts. Also, there is sadness and grief. One of the negative emotions that narcissistic abuse survivors face is sadness and grief. And in it, you are asking, I miss what I thought I had. I miss what I thought I had. And the root cause basically is the loss of the illusion, the loss of your identity, and the loss of time. You feel angry about that and you're grieving basically. And how does it make you feel? It makes you have a heavy heart, and it also makes you cry frequently. And you also miss the good moments, even if they were manipulation. You miss the good moments, and also you mourn the person you thought they were. And the impact is such that you suffer from depression, you suffer from emotional numbness, as well as regret. But healing begins with allowing yourself to grieve without guilt, and also honoring your pain as part of the healing process. Another common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is anxiety. And in anxiety, you're asking the question, what if this happens again? And the root cause is basically the chronic unpredictability that accompanies narcissistic abuse. You can never predict anything. There is always some form of unpredictability in a narcissistic relationship, and that has caused you to be anxious. And also there is the emotional trauma that comes with narcissistic abuse is also making you anxious. And how does it feel? Basically, it makes you constantly worry. It gives you racing thoughts, as well as trouble sleeping. You're unable to sleep, you're unable to concentrate, and you are unable to breathe deeply. And the impact is such that you fear for the future. You have a fear of the future, and you also avoid social interactions, and there's perfectionism or control seeking. You always want to control things, control stuff, control people, control places. But healing begins with mindfulness and deep breathing. Mindfulness and deep breathing will help you heal from anxiety, as well as establishing routines and small daily wins. And so have small daily wins that will enable you to become more confident in the future. Another common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is hopelessness. Will I ever be okay? That is a question you're asking. Will I ever be okay? And it's caused by the fact that you have suffered from repeated cycles of abuse and invalidation. You've been invalidated severally. As a result, you suffer from hopelessness, and it makes you feel stuck, and it makes you feel broken. It also makes you believe healing isn't possible. And that is why I always emphasize when I write my posts on this community page, I always emphasize healing is possible, because there are some of us on this community who believe healing isn't possible, and it is a result of hopelessness, feeling hopeless, okay, and then wanting to give up. That is another thing that comes with hopelessness. You want to give up, and the impact is such that you suffer from depression, and you also have a loss of purpose. You no longer have a purposeful meaning. Your life is meaningless. There's no meaning to your life, and also you withdraw emotionally. There is emotional withdrawal. But healing begins with focusing on tiny improvements. Just don't think of making a major change. Just tiny little improvements. Focus on them, and also connecting with a support group or therapist, and I constantly talk about therapy with the Holy Spirit because it's the greatest therapy that ever lived. And so I highly recommend therapy with the Holy Spirit. Sit with the Holy Spirit. Let him help you through your feelings of hopelessness. And also, you must also rebuild a sense of purpose. Rebuild a sense of purpose as a way of healing from hopelessness. Also, number 9, common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is self-doubt. Can I trust myself again? Self-doubt. Can I trust myself again? And it's caused by the gaslighting you've experienced from the narcissist. It's caused by the invalidation you've experienced from the narcissist. It's also caused by the criticism, the constant criticism you've suffered from the narcissist. And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel insecure. There is insecurity. Insecurity is the order of the day, and then there's second guessing every choice. You're second guessing yourself at every moment. You never ever believe in your choices, and you're constantly doubting yourself and overthinking even small decisions. As a result, you're unable to take decisions, and the impact is such that you lack confidence in yourself. You fear new relationships, and also you have an inability to move forward because you are over analyzing your choices as well as your decisions. But healing begins with reclaiming your inner voice and making those small decisions you are avoiding to make. Also, practice decision making in small, low risk situations. That will help you do tiny decision makings that will boost your confidence to be able to make bigger decisions. Also, there is loneliness. That is another common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face. Loneliness. And in loneliness, you are saying, no one understands what I went through. No one understands what I went through. And it's caused by the isolation that the narcissist has put you through. It's caused by the smear campaigns that the narcissist has put you through. And it's also caused by the loss of support that the narcissist has put you through. And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel abandoned. It makes you feel worthless. It makes you feel rejected. And also it makes you crave connection, but you fear rejection. You crave connection but still fear rejection. And also it makes you emotionally detached, and there's emotional detachment in your life. And the impact is such that you suffer from depression, you suffer from social anxiety, and you also have trust issues. You don't trust anyone. But healing begins with creating a safe inner world in your insides. Create a safe inner world, and also slowly reach out to safe people or online communities. And this is a shameless plug, but I'm gonna make it. This community is a safe online community. The Iyabo Oyawale YouTube community is a safe one, and so go ahead and hit the subscribe button to become a member of this community, because we hold hands virtually in our fight against narcissistic abuse and emotional trauma. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and also turn on notifications to be notified when we go live, because we go live every Saturdays 12 noon WAT. We don't miss it, discussing different aspects of narcissistic abuse and emotional trauma. And this coming Saturday, we're going to talk about how to deal with the rage and resentment you feel after narcissistic abuse. It's going to be an explosive session, and I see God liberating his people through that session. People who have been bound by the chains of resentment and rage for ages are going to be released from those chains, because knowledge is a major tool for deliverance. Yes, and that is why we share. That is why we do all that we do on this channel. Okay, so this 11th most common negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face is resentment. I can't believe they got away with it. That is a question you're asking. That is what you're saying. I can't believe they got away with it. And it's caused by the injustice you feel at what the narcissist has done to you, as well as the betrayal from the narcissist, as well as the lack of accountability from the narcissist. And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel bitter. Inwardly, you feel bitter. You feel a major sense of bitterness, and you are replaying events over and over in your mind, and you're also longing for revenge or closure. But the narcissist doesn't offer closure. Just suck it up and move on with your life. And the impact is such that there is emotional burnout, and there are blocks to forgiveness because of the resentment. You're unable to forgive, and you feel stuck in your past. But healing begins with writing what we call a rage letter, RAGE letter, but not sending it. You're going to write a rage letter expressing all those your feelings of resentment and bitterness. Put them on paper. Yes, but you're not going to send it. You're either going to burn it or you're going to tear it as a way of getting closure from the past, or as a way of expressing your emotions into physical form. And also practice forgiveness for your sake and not theirs. I've always said it on this channel that forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself and not the narcissist. And so forgive for yourself and not because of them. And last but not the least, you feel empty. That is the 12th negative emotion that narcissistic abuse survivors face. Emptiness. Who am I now? You feel empty. And I always say that we as human beings, we are like donuts, and in the middle of the donut there is a space, there is a round space, and that feeling of emptiness can only be covered by Jesus Christ, by the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. And that feeling of emptiness has caused you what we call identity erosion. You no longer know who you are. Also, it's caused you emotional neglect, and now you are emotionally neglectful. So how does it feel? You feel numb. There is numbness in you, and also there is loss of dreams, loss of desires, as well as loss of direction. You no longer know where you are going. You no longer know who you are. You no longer know what you want to do, and there is lack of passion or joy. You have lost your joy. You have lost your passion. And the impact is such that you suffer from depression, and you suffer from identity confusion, as well as dissociation. But healing begins with rediscovering your hobbies, your values, and your dreams. And so go ahead and rediscover your values, your hobbies, as well as your dreams. Those things that light you up, those things that spark your joy, those things that ignite your bliss. Go ahead and create what we call a joy list. Quote and unquote joy list. JOY list, and act on that joy list. Those things that give you joy, that spark your joy, that ignite your bliss, go ahead and do them. So what is my final word? Now, these emotions are not signs of weaknesses. They are evidence that you survived. And so don't see yourself as weird for feeling them. Yes, don't feel weird. It's part of the healing process. And healing begins by naming what you feel and honoring what you're feeling, validate what you're feeling, and gently moving toward peace. Now, would you like me to send you a printable workbook containing this exact guide, as well as journaling prompts, reflection exercises, and faith-based affirmations for each emotion? Please type send PDF in the comment section, and I'll definitely send it to you ASAP. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot. Thanks for the time invested in watching this, and go ahead and like this video, because when you do, you are telling YouTube the kind of content to serve you, the kind of content to recommend to you. And also share this video with a friend. Be the reason why someone escapes the narcissist trap. And also leave a comment and hit the subscribe button to become a member of this community. We love you in this community, and we want the very best for you. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in my next.